Hey guys, it's Micah here. So here's the truth, the honest truth. If English is not your first language, then you're not as confident speaking English in meetings, giving presentations in English, and just walking up to Americans and speaking in English since it's not your first language. Most people lack the confidence when speaking their non-native language. And in your case, this is English. In my case, this is Spanish. I don't have the same confidence. Why? You're mixing up the pronunciations of the long I versus the short I, which causes people not to be quite sure what you're saying. So instead of saying sheet, you're saying, that other word. Instead of saying beach, you kind of sound like you're saying the other word. So this makes you lack confidence. Also, you don't realize there are 14 vowel sounds in English. You're probably only pronouncing about 5 of them. And most of the vowel sounds, you're actually saying them the same, which confuses people. Not to mention, let's be honest, most of us learned a lot about language reading. When you're reading, you're not hearing the real sounds and the real pronunciation of the words, so you're not really confident how it sounds. Also, you have a lot of people saying, "Can you repeat that?" Or they look a little confused, or maybe it's an awkward situation and they stop speaking to you kind of quickly. But that's not even the end of the problem. It actually gets worse. The real problem here is the fact that your boss is missing out on your great ideas because you're not speaking up in meetings as much as the other employees. You also might not be getting raises and promotions because you're not being the leader that you know you can be. And if it's hard to communicate with you, it's very hard for people to want to promote you to a leadership position. Communication is critical for a manager or a leader. And worst of all, you're having awkward interactions with people, friends, colleagues, instead of attracting them to you because you're so easy to communicate with. But luckily, there is now a solution. Introducing Sound Like Americans. Sound Like Americans utilizes my trademarked Bell-U method to speak clearly, confidently, and never repeat yourself again. Get that leadership position at your job. Make those friends. Connect with others because you're easy to talk to now. In Sound Like Americans, you will learn how to clearly say all 14 vowel sounds. Don't mix up beach and that other word. Don't just learn the sound. We've all done the YouTube videos and the sounds. But I'm going to teach you how to make sure you're saying it in your everyday speech, not learning it just here, but having it come out of your mouth every time. Ensure people hear what you're saying and are not thinking, what is he saying or what is she saying? I want to teach you how to convert an awkward conversation to an easy conversation. See exactly how one of my clients opened up her ears to the real sound of American English and how another client, a scientist, started selling his critical medicine for kids in India because people can now understand what he's selling. You are going to learn how to attract people and build deeper connections and learn the American rhythm, the pausing in the right places, and the tone to make sure you're saying what you think you're saying. Hey guys, I am Micah Bellew, and you're probably saying, who is this woman? What is this Bellew method? And how can she say these things that she's saying? Well, here is why I can make these promises to you. I've spent over 12 years teaching English to adults and professionals just like you. I've been hired by Samsung, American Airlines, Volvo, and Chevron to transform communication at their international companies. I've personally helped hundreds of Fortune 100 professionals and expats speak more clearly, become a communication leader, and attract others with their accents. I've personally learned French, Spanish, and Japanese, so I understand your struggle and how to overcome it. I know what it's like to learn a language as an adult, and I know what it's like to change your accent in that other language. I've also hired and trained over 200 instructors globally to implement the Bellew method with our language training company, True Fluency. But don't just take my word for it. Take a look. Let me tell you the story about Giorgio. He's from Italy. He's a scientist in San Francisco, and he presents his information to companies that are going to invest or purchase, or not invest or not purchase, his products that help the stomach health for kids in India. He has an amazing product. I've heard his presentation over 100 times, helping him to correct it. But people were having a really hard time understanding him. And so his boss reached out to me. She said if they can't understand him, how can they buy his life-saving product? So he used the exact product, Sound Like Americans, and now clearly says all of the vowel sounds and has a clear message. He's easier to understand, and he feels confident when he's doing his presentations because he knows he's speaking clearly. He knows that the people in the audience understand him. Also, there's a woman, Zenobia, from South America. She works in DC as an engineer. After just one day working with Sound Like Americans, she said her ears were open to the true sounds of the language for the very first time, whereas before she was translating the sound from Spanish. And so after 20 years in the United States, she said she's finally hearing. So here is what you get. Everything you get with Sound Like Americans. You're going to get a step-by-step instructional videos for every single vowel sound on how to really pronounce the American vowels. I promise you, you've been saying them wrong, and I can assure you'll say them correctly. There's one video for each vowel sound, so that's 14 videos total just for the vowels. You're also going to get 14 magic sentences that allow you to master each of those vowel sounds easily. I don't want you just repeating the sentence at any. You're also going to get 14 magic sentences that allow you to master each of those 14 vowel sounds easily. Just repeat the magic sentence at any time to remind yourself. At the gym, making dinner, in the shower, you can practice anytime. I don't want you using irrelevant words.